notification right here that says from Derek Wood. I have a collaborate invite to test collab. Now there's also a setting where you can make this an invitation only where you have to accept, or one where you automatically accept collaboration invites. You would still get a notification. The difference is from my perspective as the collaborator, I would have Jeff under a pending collaboration invite still.
So in this case, we're looking at the settings where you have to explicitly accept collaborations rather than auto-accepting them.
So I accept. Now it takes me here.
So let's go back up to, let's go to Jeff's My Files Home. Okay, so if we remember Jeff's view before, and I'm sure you don't, but it did not have test collab in it. So if we see at the bottom, we've got this new folder we've created during this demo, test collab. It says updated a minute ago. You can see that the folder's got the little people watermark on it, which denotes that this is a folder that's being collaborated on. Let's get the tooltip again. As we mouse over it, you can see that test collab shared by Derek.Wood, so we can see that it's owned by somebody else. We're going to be bringing some of that metadata right into this UI view, so you'll see some changes to this in the coming weeks. And now Jeff can work on this. So now Jeff can edit that file. He can re-upload that file back to the version stream, download the folder as a zip, which Derek's highlighting right now, link to it, do all of the things he could do as if it was actually his content. Remembering, though, that the original owner is still going to maintain control over the file. Some questions here. Thomas asks, a single file size limit. I have lawyers that want to FTP outlook.pst files for discovery. Thomas, it'll easily handle not like single-digit gigabyte files. We're releasing a desktop client in probably a month, which will facilitate those kinds of uploads. So for e-discovery and document shipping, it's perfect. This replaces uSendIt. One of the goals we've got here is for all your customers to never use uSendIt again, because this tool's just got that built into it.
Right. And as you see here, when I mouse over the upload tool, it says using runtime Silverlight. Silverlight is Microsoft's answer to large file transfers. So this will actually make sure that if the file is, 2 gigs, 5 gigs, 10 gigs, we'll be able to get it up.
We got another question here. Thomas asks as well, how many levels of admin? I've got my account. Do I grant sub-admins to each company? No, Thomas. You would have, so if you can think of in your head, in fact, Derek, do we have the user diagram available that we can pull up?
I do have the user diagram in my account.
Okay, great. So let's see if we can deliver on our promise here. All right, so for those of you who are asking us what's a good use case for the product, you just saw one live action. There's a document which is an internal doc. It's not ready for public consumption, but I want to talk through it because it'll be useful for this. I didn't have access to it. I asked Derek if he had it, and he said I had it in my Collaborate account. To me, that's a pretty cool live action use case. Let's download it and look at the PDF. And this diagram is, although a little bit complex, and we'll simplify it, it really goes to the heart of these different types of user accounts. So think of, there are basically two stacks here, two different types of users. On the left-hand column is, it's rendering slowly, okay. Left-hand column are sort of our admins, and then the right-hand column are our users, right? So at the top of the left-hand stack, in blue, we've got the three different types of reseller accounts. So at the top, we've got what we call an RP admin, which is a super reseller, then a master level reseller, which is kind of like a distributor, a reseller account, which all of you would get. And that is the level that you come in at. That's your reseller account that allows you to administer all of these companies. The red box is what you sell. So that goes to the IT guy at your client, at your customer site. Or if you're on the line today and you happen to want to, use this technology yourself, or I guess when you're using your own instance that you call in to get, that's what you're going to be driving. And Derek's been demoing the red box, the company admin. And then over on the right-hand side are all the different types of users, which can get a little confusing, but we can just shorthand it like this. There are users who have accounts, and there are users that don't have accounts. Users that don't have accounts, obviously, we want to move them into having an account, which can be free, and then move them to the top of the stack, which is a paid seat. So that dark green box is a paid user, whereas the other three are forms of non-paid user. This is going to be a key piece of marketing material that you get in your training material and that you'll have for your customers. It's not really ready for us to distribute yet, so we'll simplify this a little bit. But I hope that clarifies, Thomas. I hope I actually haven't confused the matter more by showing this.
And then another way of showing how this works is SOS Collaborate. This domain is the reseller level.
Right, let's pick on someone. So that'll be thomasdillon.com.
Right. So Thomas, for each company that you sign up, they'll have a subdomain. So we've actually set up Lasso, which is our Los Angeles sales office, as a company within the SOS Collaborate entity. As those of you who are familiar with how we refer to partners as entities. So this would be your brand and then the company name for each company that you provision. To address another question that's similar from Vita, which is asking about a generic account to allow clients to use on a specific project. Well, that's exactly what the guest and the Collaborate accounts allow you to do, is that avoid having to just create a single user account. Now, could everyone use a single user account? Yes, but you wouldn't want to do that because you lose a lot of audit trails. So then every update is from you. Every invite is, it's non-existent. You wouldn't collaborate with yourself. So it really would negate a lot of the benefactors of having the email notifications, the audit trail, comments, that sort of thing, because it would be coming from one single person. You can still have those comments and still have those notifications with non-paying accounts.
Right.
I guess in the collaborated.
But let's tackle that, right? What you want to do, Vita, is you want your customers to buy as many accounts from you as possible. So it's not a good business decision for you to ask your clients to share these accounts. It's going to reduce your revenue, right? So, this is a super useful tool for your customers. I think you can see that. And we should all be collectively pounding the table about getting all of our customers to use this as much as possible, because it really is a tremendous tool. Okay, great. So, all right, we've covered collaboration, we've covered adding content, we've covered sharing with non-user sharees. Any other areas, Derek, you feel that we should tackle? Let's look at document editing in the cloud. So, can you upload or just an empty Word document, for example? So what we're going to show in a second is the ability to edit content in the cloud. We've got some various snap-ins that let you edit documents. The most common docs you can edit are Word docs. So we can edit Word docs, we can edit Excel documents, we can edit, I think, PowerPoints, and we'll be building out the snap-ins over time that allow us to actually edit different content types.
There's actually a plugin where for those of you who have engineering firms using CAD files, there is a CAD preview plugin, which is also very nice for simple review plugin, review and commenting. They would have to download it, of course, to work on that because those programs are rather complex, but it is very nice that you can do that.
Another really important point is the customizability of all of this. So there's a lot more control that resellers have got with Collaborate than with the traditional SOS backup product, so that you can actually help define some of your own SKUs by turning functionality on and off for your various customers. So you've got a lot of control over that. In terms of, we haven't covered all the features, but we're running out of time. In that features grid we talked about earlier, we covered a lot of these, but just again hitting some that are important. You can set and change different storage quotas for different users. So as a reseller, you can do it for your companies, and as a company admin, you can do it for your users. The branding, the subdomain, and the logo, we've covered that. Tom's actually shared that his website is in fact tomdillon.com, so shameless plug for Tom's website. But in our scenario, if Tom sells to Pepsi, then Pepsi's going to go to pepsi.tomdillon.com. So that's the way this is going to work from a branding standpoint. SOS isn't going to be anywhere near anything. You can search the repository, so you can search the file by tags or metadata or content type. You can set file retention policies for how long different content should be stored in the cloud. Incoming folders is effectively an HTML upload form for your public customers. So in Vita's scenario earlier, where they want users to be able to pass files around, and remember we saw earlier a non-user sharee looking at some stuff. Well, that same non-user can actually upload stuff as well. So putting those two sets of functionality together, I think would probably answer the solution that you're talking about, Vita, if you really did want to do it for free. We can password protect content. We can do that on a file or folders basis. We've covered sharing and unsharing. We can edit content in the cloud, which Derek's working on here. Users can personalize their profiles. All of the email alerts and notification settings can be customized. Comments can all be tagged and attached, have metadata attached to them, which we can then use for scanning and sharing